We all have gathered here to witness some of the meaningful deliberation and participation with our opinions and view on the event theme, empowering learning, promoting active engagement and student participation with technology-enabled solutions. This roundtable will bring together experts, edtech professionals, and educators to explore innovative ways to foster active learning and student engagement through using technology. We need your active participation and involvement in the discussion to make the session more fruitful and meaningful. The session theme, empowering learning, promoting active engagement and student participation with technology-enabled solutions, have been well drafted and carefully chosen. Even the key discussion points, which highlights active learning strategies, gamification in education, hybrid learning environments, assessment and feedback, teacher training, and measuring engagement. I'm sure you must be involved or engaged in any of the session themes, and as we progress in the event, we would like to hear more about the case studies or any initiatives in any of this, the technology services or the products which you have implemented, and it has really helped you sail across the tough times of teaching, learning, and assessment, that will help each another understand how are you doing in your premises well. I'm happy to introduce and welcome Mr. Elliot Gowans. He is the Senior Vice President, International Unit from D2L Corporation. He has traveled all along from UK to participate in this event, to interact with the education leadership of Tamil Nadu, and he especially has a focus and a vision on interacting with the education leaders of this state. He's been accompanied with Dr. Prem Maheshwari. He's the Director, South Asia, D2L Corporation. You must have seen Mr. Maheshwari in our last event also, where when we organized this event in the month of April, where Anbil Mahesh Pujamudi, he was one of the chief guests of our event that day. I can see many of the faces who were the participant of the last event as well. And your love, affection, and your patronage to us has brought us again to your city to have a more meaningful, more in-depth, and a participative interaction in this closed door roundtable. It will be different to the event which we had last time. So to introduce a little bit of what D2L is into, it's a Canadian multinational into edtech space, is the most innovative learning management services with its presence worldwide, and one of the best LMS solutions for online learning and teaching. So why not to introduce and invite Dr. Prem Maheshwari himself to just open the session with his remarks and to brief a little bit more about what D2L is into, and then we can move ahead with the roundtable discussion. To you.
Totally our privilege and pleasure to be amidst so many experienced, heads of the institutions and key stakeholders of universities and educational institutions across South India. We are from D2L. D2L was formerly called as Desire to Learn, as Chandan told us that we are a Canadian company, a Canadian multinational in the edtech space, learning management platform. And learning management platforms have assumed a spatial status in most of the educational institutions because of following reasons. See, I divide the past decade into three stages: AC, BC, and DC. DC is during COVID, AC is after COVID, and BC is before COVID. And actually, the way teaching and learning is getting transformed in the AC, BC, and DC is miraculous. We were actually teaching physically more and less of online as far as Indian education pattern and systems are concerned. More of classroom teachings, more of lecture delivery, more of invigilated examinations to, during COVID, completely changed pedagogies, completely changed delivery of educations. Digital education came into forefront. We started, many of the institutions started using actual LMSs, some started using ERPs, some started using Zoom and Microsoft classes and stuff like that. And post-COVID, after COVID, things have changed dramatically. Everyone is out. But then, good thing that happened during COVID was that in the entire diaspora of educational institutions, as also parents, teachers, students understood the importance of digital education and portable education. Today, we all carry education in our mobile phones. And this is courtesy a tech revolution that has happened. And one of the key inputs to this tech revolution has been education technology and LMSs, learning management platforms, that have helped the institutions and the organizations to actually transform the way education has been delivered so far and is getting delivered and will be delivered in the future. Students, youngsters are very dynamic, very tech savvy. They love technology, they love games, they love gamification, and a lot of tools, digital tools, which they use on a day-to-day basis. And therefore, the educational institutions, faculties also have to transform themselves in terms of education delivery. We as a company, we have a learning management system. The name of the system is called Brightspace. This is a completely SaaS-based, cloud-native learning management platform. And we have helped large number of institutions across the globe with more than 1,500 clients, including higher education institutions, K-12 schools, associations, universities, using this platform to disseminate education in the most advanced way. We came to India some 3.5 years ago, just before COVID, and we started attending and contacting large number of educational institutions, and we started discussing with them the possibility of adapting a robust learning management platform for academic delivery. This platform is unique in the sense that it has certain unique features which otherwise are not generally available when you actually think of digitizing the education. We have our technical expert, Mr. Mahesh, and after this session is over, we would want Mr. Mahesh also to interact with you and actually understand your specific digital pains and issues that you may have been facing in your institutions and what could be the possible solution that Brightspace could offer. But then the system has helped large number of institutions and universities to successfully meet the challenges of today, which is basically how do we deliver the digital education, create digital education on the platforms, also including assignments and assessments. So that, given the context, the theme of this session today is empowering learning, promoting active engagement and student participation with technology-enabled solutions. And amongst all of us, we're going to discuss about active learning strategies, about the gamification tools that are available on the platform, hybrid learning, because that's the way education is gradually heading to. Even the campus-based education is actually getting hybrid. A lot of the material that is available otherwise that is taught in the classrooms is available on the learning management platforms. Students study that standard material, and when they come to class, more of case studies and assignments are discussed. Also teacher training, which has become very important because they are the change agents of adapting new technology and ensuring that digital education comes into vogue. And of course, how do you manage the engagement, student-teacher engagement? Elliot is our Senior Vice President International, and he has seen the world. He has been to large number of international universities, has also visited many of the Indian universities, and has seen from close quarters the challenges that the institutions are currently facing. Also understood and identified the possible solutions using technology-enabled education. And I would want Elliot to put his views across all of you in terms of what he thinks about the challenges. Whereafter, what we will do is we'll go around the table, one after the other, and we will discuss on these 4 or 5 topics that I discussed.
his, what was it, AC, DC, BC? Yeah. I actually think that COVID wasn't a great thing for education technology, and I know many people might think that's a strange thing to say. Everyone had to use education technology, but actually we were just starting out in India at that point, and then our grand plan that we had to throw the plan away, and everyone then just decided that education technology was video. And we've spent the last 2 years having conversations all around the country trying to, rediscuss what actually is education technology and how can it support you. And it's not just Microsoft Teams, and it's not just Zoom. And so I don't think actually COVID in the end was a great thing for our company and for other similar companies. Every time I come here, so this is my third time in the last 12 months, I feel energized. Right this second, I'm not very energized because my hotel, not this hotel, my hotel decided that they needed to have building works going on outside my bedroom window last night. So right now I'm feeling a little tired, but in general, when I come to India, I get to the end of the week and I feel really energized. So thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to the discussion that we're about to have over the next couple of hours. So I've been asked to kind of kick off our discussion today, and Dr. Prem did a good job of outlining what we're going to be discussing. I thought where I would start is more with some observations from my perspective, from D2L's perspective, on the adoption of education technology. And as Dr. Prem says, I travel around the world, and I get to see different countries, how education technology has been adopted, but also within countries, how different institutions have adopted these technologies. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that as a way of kicking off our discussion today. So when we think about the adoption of educational technologies, we see three distinct phases, right? Those phases are the digitize phase, there is the optimize phase, and then there is the transform phase. I'm going to go on and I'm going to talk a little bit about each of those. And what we see through those phases is different countries' education systems will be at a different place, but also within countries, different institutions are at a different place. And maybe as I'm talking through this, you might reflect on your institution or the institutions that you know, and maybe that might be part of the discussion as we go through. So I'll just describe what we see in these phases. So. The digitized phase, probably the name of the phase helps describe what it is, right? But that's the first move away from paper-based, face-to-face teaching. And what we see there is institutions moving content that's previously like this, I guess, right? Previous paper-based content and moving it online. It may be PDFs, it may be Word documents, it may be PowerPoints. And they're starting to build a repository where students and faculty can share materials. During this initial phase, we see institutions starting to do things like, okay, let's do assessments through a digital platform. Maybe we'll have some quizzes. Maybe we're still having essays, but we're having someone, instead of putting them in a pigeonhole, let's have them submitted electronically, right? And so this is the foundational phase. Some institutions at this stage will be pushing things a little bit further, and they might be thinking about collaboration. And so they may use discussion forums, and they want to get students talking to one another through digital platforms, right? And hopefully some of what I've described there, you're thinking, yeah, that's a little bit, yeah, we've done that, or we're thinking about doing that. And I would say that, and I'll talk a little bit more about some specific countries and where we see things, but in a lot of parts of the world, some institutions are still in the digitized phase. The next phase of the adoption of educational technologies is what we call the optimized phase. And one of the examples of things that we see during the optimized phase is increased use of video. And we can see on the screen up here, the video keeps flashing up. I don't mean the use of MS Teams and Zoom. I mean the use of video as a tool to empower and improve student engagement and improve student outcomes. So that may be through the use of instructors filming a lecture and then putting that out to the students in advance, flipping the classroom so that when they come together, they have the discussion and they've already watched this online. It could be the use of video assignments, where you ask the students to submit their assignments via video, that kind of thing. So I'm talking more holistically about the use of video rather than just synchronous web classrooms. Another key thing that we see during this second phase, the optimized phase, is the automation of workflows and the use of the digital platforms to try and really take some of the workflows that have been paper-based and have been done offline before and move them online and automate some of those. A really good example would be what we call, it's a feature in our platform called intelligent agents. The way of thinking about it would be as a sort of virtual assistant, virtual teaching assistant. And so a student hasn't turned up for class for 3 weeks. In the old days, someone might give them a phone call and find out. We start to see in this optimized phase the use of tools and digital tools to automate that process of reaching out and contacting the student. A student hasn't handed in an assignment, we can automatically contact them. So workflows like this that are then able to be automated through the use of digital technologies. And then the other big theme during the optimized phase is the use of learning analytics. So as institutions are starting to have more adoption of digital platforms, they're starting to get a trove of data that's useful. And what they can then do is use that data to inform the design of the class and design of the course, so that in future iterations of the course, they can make changes and tweaks. And ultimately, which is all of our goals, is improving student outcomes and getting better results at the end of the day. And so that use of learning analytics is the other key thing we see in the optimized phase. The final phase that we see is transform, and it's fair to say that even at this stage there are not a lot of countries or institutions within countries that are at the phase of really transforming. And what we mean by that when we say transform is using the technology to try and rethink our pedagogy and rethink the educational models themselves. And so the big example that we see, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a second, is the use of competency-based education or mastery-based education, which I know a lot of institutions are talking about these things, but trying to do them on paper is really hard. It really takes a lot of effort. And so in this phase, we see institutions using technology to enable them to actually rethink their entire model about how are they assessing students. Instead of a show up for 10 classes, do an assignment, sit an exam. Okay, can you prove and display your mastery of the concepts that we've had in the course? During the transform phase, we start to see institutions using technology to enable that. So in general, I would say what we see is most higher ed institutions are somewhere between digitize and optimize. Okay, there's some outliers, but mostly they're there. And there are some specific countries. I would list Singapore, Australia, Netherlands as three where there's a lot of institutions that are getting towards that transform phase. And then Brazil stands out to me as a country where they're really still starting out and they're kind of at the digitize phase of the adoption. There are some surprises within that. I would say that strangely maybe within the UK and the US, there are pockets where the use of education technology is a lot less than you might think it is. And there are pockets where it's very advanced, but actually there are some institutions in both those countries that really are just starting out. And then the other higher education market that stands out to me, which is quite surprising, is Colombia. So in Colombia, the adoption of education technology has been really, really strong there, and almost the entire higher education system has moved to a competency and outcomes-based model, and it's entirely built off of the use of education technology, which is really exciting to see and really, really refreshing. Here in India, our experiences that we see lots of digitizing. Right? There's lots of that happening, especially post-pandemic. Many institutions want to optimize, right, and are sort of starting on that journey. But as you would expect in India, everything's moving fast as well. And I think if we fast forward maybe 2 years and look back, then we have this conversation, I'd be saying an entirely different thing. I think that if there's one thing that's true about India is everything moves fast and everything is changing at a very fast pace. So I feel like I've talked for long enough now just to kick things off. I think I'd kind of leave with the question, which you may or may not touch on during your sections, is where is your institution in that curve, that adoption curve? Are you in the digitize, optimize, or transform? And where do you think you'll be over the next couple of years? So with that, Dr. Prem, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you so much, Elliot. And let's do one thing now. Let's go around the table and seek your ideas and seek the challenges that you've been facing, especially in promoting active education, active learning in your respective institutions in terms of engaging students, motivating students through and via use of technology. And I would start with you, sir, Dr. K. Vijaya and Bhaskar Raju from Bharath University. You just press it at the bottom. It's done?
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, friends. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Always, I think the first speaker will have the advantage. Let me just touch upon the assessment. We know how the assessments are happening in our institutes. The assessment, you can take it in any form. Suppose we have started from our institution to this place, we have to assess the time, how much time it takes to reach the venue. If your assessment is wrong, then we'll be coming late. Then if you take in terms of a patient, the doctor should assess the patient properly, diagnose and give the proper treatment. When it comes to in terms of the student, we have to examine and we have to see his skills and we have to see his fitment or fitness to the industry where he is going to seek a job. Generally, at our institutional level, the assessment, let us call it as assessment or, of course, evaluation. It's a continuous evaluation. Most of the institutes are following. That is in terms of some internal assessment. That is maybe, I think most of the institutes, we are following about 3 assessment tests before the final assessment. In these 3, generally, all the total syllabus will be covered. Suppose if you have in any subject about 5 units or 5 parts, the first assessment may be 1.5, the second maybe another 1.5, the last assessment with the remaining 2 parts. Here, the involvement of the student is most important. I feel compared to the earlier days, the commitment and involvement of the students is slowly getting reduced. That's where I think the role of a teacher is coming so much important. However, because if you take in the administration side, always we will be asking the teacher, we are not attracting the students to attend the classes, or we are not making them to attempt the test. It's very easy as an administration side. During our days, it was different. Nowadays, the teacher is finding it very difficult to attract the student to the classroom. However, the innovative methods you are following, but still, the percentage-wise, if you take at least 60 to 70% of the students are still sincere. The role of a teacher is, changing the remaining 30 to 40% of students to come into the classroom. These assessments, if you take out of 3, generally we are taking the best out of 3. Sometimes if a student is very sincere, suppose if he doesn't make, score or good marks maybe in one of the assessment, if he really requests for the reassessment, we are also allowing one more test in between the 2 assessments. I think very few, I can say maybe I can count 1 or 2 students who are coming forward for the reassessment. And then the final assessment, of course, then finally we will declare the results. And before this, I think for the student to fit into the industry, while finalizing the final result, we'll say the student is fit enough for the course which he has been admitted. That means he could have been trained in all the skills, could have gained the knowledge in the subject area. So these are things where we are examining and assessing the student and giving the certificate. For this, sometimes we also give some quiz also. Sometimes we give the multiple choice questions also to assess the student. So many methods we are following, but still I think the lot of interest should come from the student. That's where I think we should involve the student to attend the classroom and also the assessments. I think I will give it to the next speaker. Maybe if time permits, I will come back to the feedback maybe at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think you're right. Even when it comes to assessments, engaging students and faculties to ensure proper assessments is also equally important. Now, we have certain tools called gamification tools on the platform. What it does is that it provides you a variety of assessment levels. So youngsters are very attracted towards games. You cross one level, you go to the next level and further levels, and you feel excited about it. So you create different levels of assessment within the system, and should somebody clear level 1, is motivated to go to the next level, and therefore he would put more efforts and would like to clear that, and that results into certain awards which are also built into the tools. So if I've got 2 badges because I've done certain assessments successfully and reach a certain level, but you have not done it as my friend and in the class, you are motivated to actually achieve that level. So all these kind of tools that actually engage students to ensure proper assessments and therefore leading to better learning are available on digitized tools. Thank you, sir. Sridhara, sir. So your views, sir, about the use of technology in your institution.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a good opportunity for all of us to share our experiences and as well as to know what solutions are available. And to Vijaya Bhaskar sir, actually I'll start with basically engaging the students first, then I'll come to the assessment. We know that actually if it is a theory-oriented or just a lecture-oriented type of sessions, we can't hold the concentration of the students for more than 5 minutes. And it's a known fact that all of a sudden the learning curve goes up and then the attention curve comes down immediately. And how long you keep that attention curve down for a long time actually shows that the inefficiency of the entire process of knowledge dissemination, even if it is a theory-oriented subject. Most of the engineering subjects are problem-oriented, so students can be engaged within that. But if there are theory-oriented subjects like management subjects, etc., so on, it's very important for the teacher to, somehow keep them engaged throughout. The best way we have seen that many systems or many type of forms which we are using already is project-based learning. Of course, as Maheshwari was mentioning about gamification can also be used into it. And when I get into the online courses, a few of these online courses, they actually have a sort of e-book, and it has got in between a sort of, the quiz. Suppose I say, even if I get into the NAC assessor portal also, suppose you are taking the NAC assessor as an exam, it gives you, for example, one chapter, and after that you need to pass an exam. And these exams could be basically a sort of quiz, or it could also be some sort of essay type of questions. And you can take your learning assessment, first of all, see that what is your assessment, and based on that you can either go forward or again come back again. Suppose I don't score more than 80%, I may be asked to relook at it and then come back here and then learn it. And one good thing actually in some of those type of learning courses, I also see that questions actually keep changing. For example, first time I attempt 3 questions, which I find the 2 questions are difficult, I couldn't answer. Then I can go back to the question bank and click another 3 questions and then try to understand and then go ahead. This is the way actually we can keep them engaged. See, basically earlier we used to, even now in many of the conventional classes, we ask the students, did you understand? And suddenly people will get used to that, and they would have slipped already. Now they'll try to get up, or the awakening of the mind will happen. I am not very sure whether it has gone into their mind or not. Then what is the next thing we usually do as teachers? We ask some questions, or we ask them to come out with some solutions or some sort of comments. If that doesn't come immediately, I know that they are not understood. But now with the tools which we have, technical tools today, especially the very powerful LMS, I can send in a flash. Earlier in my own class, I was using the flash board. The flash board is a board with yes or no, or sometime, the quiz questions with some answers they can write and then show it. So immediately I could see. For example, as a teacher, at the end, I would ask a question, how many of you think that my lecture was above 90%? So somebody will raise some flash. So that way we are trying to do even for the classes also. Now these things are available. Many of freewares are also available. We can use the freeware for those things. Otherwise, we can also go for professional systems as such. Set a question, immediately the quiz can be set by the teacher on spot and sent it to the students on spot about the teaching what I am doing. And immediately what is their reaction and what is their learning I can understand and make it much more effective. Of course, these tools become very handy, and many a time we say that technology is there. Unless teacher understands how to make the best use of it, it becomes another carrying weight on his shoulder, his or her shoulder. So the teacher must be completely digitally educated and should have a flavor for it. That is a very, very important thing. Many a time I saw that many of the social science teachers, they think that my vocabulary is sufficient and I can make anybody understand or involve in this, etc. and all that. I would add something like that. Yeah, hats off to your vocabulary. Why don't you explore something of this also and see that how your vocabulary could add up to these types of learning engagement, especially the project-based, question-based, and the assessment-based type of learning. That is very important today, and a lot of workshops have to be done and awareness has to be brought. And it is not that actually these are very expensive as we were thinking earlier. Of course, could be as he was mentioning about DB. DC, yeah, DC. Yeah, he was mentioning about DC. It was suddenly everybody was feeling, okay, I think we were not prepared for facing the COVID pandemic and everything is expensive. We can't even actually offer one lecture online. I do not have the cloud space, etc. But today, almost everything is on through. I think we should explore that and let us see how solutions actually are there from D2L also, and how best we can make the best use of it. These are my thoughts. Assessment I'll take up later, sir. Thank you very
so much, sir. Thanks for the inputs. I think very valuable inputs, and these are the actual live challenges that currently universities are facing. And I think LMSs are able to provide very robust and very dynamic and innovative solutions to this specifically. So what we do is we approach individual universities to find out specific challenges. In certain cases, there are faculty issues, more of change management issues. In certain cases, they understand technology, they adapt technology, but they then don't bring it into practice, adoption is a major challenge. So depending on the kind of challenges that each individual university and institution is facing, we provide solutions. Thank you so much for your input, sir. Next, we will request Dr. L. Mahesh Kumar from St. Peter's Institute of Higher Education and Research. Sir, what are your views about this challenge that you may be also facing in your institution?
A very happy evening to all of you. The first time that we thought of all these digitalization came across only during COVID, when we were forced to conduct examinations. That was the first time that most of the institutes faced issues. We actually had the students write the answers at home, take pictures or scan all that and then send it. We found that it was very, very difficult, time consuming, no net, so many issues. That was a learning curve for all of us. Then we ourselves, I think we did 3 or 4 semesters of examination like that. And then we moved on to single multiple choice answers and all that. So to overcome the difficulties of connectivity. So various methods were tried at that time. And we still continue to use some of them in our day-to-day exams. We don't still do that in the conventional final year exams, but for the regular internal exams and all that, we are still continuing some of those. But regular conventional exams, final exams, we still go back to regular process. As far as active learning is concerned, it's made a big difference in the last 3 years. I myself have been actively involved in NPTEL and SWAYAM and all those courses. Even I have been taking just for understanding how it works along with the students, mentoring them, seeing them. It makes a lot of difference. Only thing is, there should be a minimum level of competence of the student. That's one issue. See, Sir was pointing out, engineering students, it's not an issue at all. They have that. But when we talk about arts and science college students, we have to, it's not just, we're not talking about only the creamy layer. We also have to think about the students who just passed, who just come in. They are not that tech savvy still. Maybe they can use a mobile phone well, but I don't foresee them being able to use everything. See, even ERP, for instance, not all the students, we have ERP, but we have to keep prodding them to utilize that. I think it will take some time. I remember somebody, VBox, actually helped us partner at that time for the exams for our particular thing. And I remember them asking me a question, how do you foresee what will happen after a few years? I said, this has come to stay. It's not that we are going back. We are not going back to pre-COVID days under any circumstance. It's completely changed. The way we learn, the way we teach, the way we, everything, gaming. Even I take classes, I have now started using gaming tools. It's everyone, because it makes it very interesting for the students. No two ways about that. But have we completely, successfully completed the entire process? No. We are still a long way in getting through to all the students. It will take some time. I think it will take some time for us to come into flipped classrooms is happening. As you had pointed out, optimized space, use of videos, all that. Particularly for as an engineer, see how difficult I found it learning something about 30, 40, 50 years ago. Today it is very easy for a student. Just have a mobile phone. He can, you don't have to explain, teach them. I myself tell them, here, I always tell them, when we were doing PhD or my guides were doing PhD, we wanted a doubt to be clarified. It would take 3 months, 6 months. Now every doubt is clarified in seconds, not even months. So much change has happened because of the utilization of technology. I think it will definitely go forward. As Sir has pointed out, we will also check into all the, listen to your views as far as how you can help us in developing the technology further. I would like to...
Thank you so much, sir. And I think you are right. Mapping the competency is one of the challenges, because if you see the tenets of the new education policy, talks about outcome-based education or competency-based education. this has become a very important activity when you're talking about digitized education. Now you have the possibility and facility to link the desired competencies that you wish to achieve whilst the student goes through the learning ecosystem and learning journey while he's with your institution. Link those competencies, A, with the content and B, with the assessment engine. And then you can track the individual competency attainment using artificial intelligence-led systems and tools on the platform. Identify competency attainment, as also identify at-risk students who are laggards, as you rightly mentioned. I mean, not everyone is a brilliant student. There are mediocre ones and there are laggards. How to identify at-risk student and then take appropriate actions through the technology to direct additional learning resources to such students is also a very important tool that is very helpful to the institutions to ensure the equitable dissemination of education of all level and all standards of students. So I think very fantastic inputs.
It was an interesting point that you made about students' tech savviness. I think often in these conversations we focus on teachers and faculty and say that one of the blockers to the use of technology is their tech savviness. And I hear the phrase a lot of about young people these days being digital natives, right? That I think that phrase gets bandied around. It certainly does in the UK. I don't know if it does here. And actually what they are is, you made the point, they're mobile phone natives, right? Lots of them couldn't change the battery in a TV remote control, right? Their technology is this thing right in front of them, and actually they're not quite as tech savvy, a lot of young people, as we think. And so I think that was a very, very astute point. We have to address both those things, both on the student side and on the teacher and faculty side, as we're trying to adopt education technologies.
Thanks, Elliot. We'll request Dr. P. Upadhyaya to let us know about the challenges you've been facing in your institution.
Okay. Good evening, and I thank D2L and ArdorComm Media for giving us a golden opportunity by uniting all of us, all academicians in Chennai, around St. Peter's. I could see all academicians from here. So it's a nice evening for us. Making that is really happy. And coming to I would like to introduce the platform from where I have come first. So I'm from Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, and headed by our founder Chancellor through A.C. Shanmugam and our beloved President Engineer ACS Arun Kumar. And we have around 25 institutions under this organization. And our university right now is having 3 medical colleges like ACS Medical College, Sri Lalitambige Medical College and Hospital, and RRMCH, Rajrajeshwari Medical College from Bangalore. So 3 health science colleges under our university, and various faculty like law, architecture, allied health science, faculty of pharmacy, physiotherapy, whatnot. Everything is there in our institution. So it's a tremendous organization, and I have been associated, I'm Udayakala, and I have been associated with that from 1997 when it was like a engineering college. That time it was really a small unit of engineering college, and within this 25-26 years it has been tremendously grown up. And coming to this our agenda today, it's all talking about teaching learning process, digitalizing, and as sir rightly pointed out, after COVID and before COVID, the scenario of students changed, tremendously changed. Are they attentive to our voice? They are not attentive to a teacher's voice. So a teacher can repeatedly say, hello, listen, are they listening? So this teacher's voice may not work anymore. That's which I understood. So in our institution, we also have smart classrooms, and coming to hybrid learning, simple WhatsApp is used for communication. See, simply if we are telling submit assignments tomorrow, they will not do it. Just send a message through WhatsApp, they will just see it. They will just reply for it. Ma'am, today we have to submit. The same we could have told in the classroom. They were not attentive to that. So a simple WhatsApp communication is needed just to communicate with them. Getting work, not that. Just to communicate with them, digitalization is very, very essential. And we too have an online program where we have tech partners for assisting us. And this online program, of course, this new education policy is having a lot of things. Conventional degree is becoming equivalent to online programs. So maximum majority of the students today prefer this online program. So tech partners are needed in that area, which I feel. Almost every other university is providing online programs. So these online programs need tech partners. Without tech partners, online program cannot be run successfully. So of course we are having tech partners for that. And coming to our regular conventional classrooms, we have a lot of other media like Microsoft Team, Google Classroom. We post material. We create our own e-learning resources. Of course, we have an Viscom and animation department. So we create our own e-learning resources. It's of course a challenge. No doubt it's a challenge. For teachers like me who have joined this organization in '97. Where the students are really studious to teachers' words. They even write if you sneeze. That will happen. But now, are they attentive? So the scenario changed. So here, what I think is this teacher training, faculty development, we used to say that as faculty development program. So if you concentrate on that area, faculty, developing the faculty for using the technology today. So this will help them enormously because many were really, when we were pushed into the digitalization by Corona, what to do, how to post the attendance, how to take students' attendance. Are they attending? Simply they will log in. And are they listening to that? And if they are listening, what is the feedback from them? So all these were really a question mark when we started that scenario of digitalization. So coming to assessment in our university, we have an open book test. Of course, students have the tendency to see and write. So let them do it, but the question will be challenging. So that way we did it. And we have interactive learning module also, where through digitalization we interact them. And so that technology we assess them. So with this, I think I'll give a chance to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I think I've noted down 3 or 4 points that you very rightly mentioned. Universities and institutions must have tech partners. Absolutely agree, because you as institution stakeholders, your core competency is delivery of education, best education. Let the technology part be handled by the tech partners. And that's very important, because you can't be upcoming with the latest updations, upgradations, and newest possible technologies, because that's not your core competency. So I think I absolutely agree with you. Having tech partners is absolutely, absolutely important. The other part you mentioned was about the teacher training. And that is part of change management. And I strongly believe in, with the 70 odd clients that we have now in India, what we do is change management is the first thing. And change management means ensuring that teachers adopt the technology, because if teachers adopt the technology, students are already smart. They understand technology much better than us. Now, therefore, teacher training and multiple teacher training multiple times unless they understand that usage of technology is not constrained. That is actually enabling them to do away with a lot of mundane administrative tasks which they are involved in, rather than teaching and learning. So technology takes care of it, including the assignments, correction of assignments, grading, multiple grading, everything is available using technology. Third thing you mentioned about that your group of institutions has 3 medical colleges. Just to let you know, NMC came out with a new regulation recently which talks about CBME, or competency-based medical education, with certain strictures, including a lot of compliances. Brightspace by D2L has come out with a solution for medical colleges, and currently this is going on in 5 countries, top medical colleges, and Mahesh Subramaniam, sitting right in front of you, has developed their solution. for the medical colleges compliant with the the NMC regulations. So everything is possible, everything is doable. I think we just need the intention and way ahead. And I think technology can actually help the institutions. Thank you so much for your contribution, ma'am.
And I'll just make one very quick point. So outside of higher education, globally, we also work very closely with schools, right? And in most countries, our starting point with schools is absolutely teacher training. It's like, and in higher education, it tends to be a little bit of both, but we start with schools, we start there because if you can't get the teachers to understand your technology, adopt your technology, you've got no chance the school children are going to do that. And I think you're right, it is actually the same in higher education as well.
Okay, and now let me request Dr. K. Porkumaran for your kind comments, sir. Thank you.
Good evening to all. It's a great opportunity to have a network with the academic and administrative leaders of higher education institutions. We thank D2L and ArdorComm media for this wonderful arrangement. So, in the higher education system, the holistic education to impart long-term learning, conceptualized learning. The students should be able to remember the concept for a lifelong period, and they should be in a position to apply the concept studied to solve any complicated problem in a simplest way. So again, now the challenge is we are handling adult learners. The generation is Gen Z, or they are all intelligent and inspiring people. So in connection with that, we are all talking about innovation. And innovation is required in terms of curriculum design, delivery, assessment and evaluation, where the engagement also taking part. So in this process, as said by the senior professors here, the faculty empowerment plays major role in terms of digital technological training and how they are able to handle or mentor the students in terms of teaching delivery and handling new methodologies, teaching learning, pedagogical methodologies, flipped classroom methodologies, active learning strategies. Maybe they can follow some of the tools, but tech partners, as said by Madam, tech partners are very, very important to impart very effective active learning strategies inside the classroom. Again, with the reference to this, we talk about outcome-based education, and wherein the program outcomes after 4 years of graduation or 3 years of graduation, how the students will be or graduate will be, what are all the characteristics they have. So in terms of 12 attributes as per Washington Accord, it is categorized into knowledge, skill and attitude. So wherein again the teaching learning practices are very, very important to impart knowledge, skill and attitude practices. That's why now the competency based learning, as you said by NMC, and now it is focusing on conceptualized learning methodologies. CDIO is picking up, which is really a supportive mechanism for the students, higher education institutions, conceive, design, implement and operate process. So wherein many higher education institutions, they are taking part. And engagement and assessment, that should be linked properly. That's why we had a special initiative. In addition to regular CGPA, we have framed a concept of PGPA, performance grade point average. That is not directly linked with the credits, mark sheet, it is not linked in the mark sheet. But based on the PGPA score, PGPA based on many parameters, as you said, online learning, group learning, any achievements they made in the project, like project-based learning, what is the achievement, competency, what is their achievement, like that. It is linked with the so many extracurricular performance of the students. So based on the PGPA, the certain special incentives are given to the students that is really working well. They are able to perform well in all the club activities, technical activities, outside classroom. So outside classroom activities certainly enhances the skill set of the students. So skilling, upskilling, reskilling is very, very important. And Again, as I said earlier, the CO, PO mapping, course outcome and program educational outcome after 3 years of graduation. These are the things to be clearly understood by the higher education institution, and it should be clearly disseminated to the faculty level so that the concept of competency-based learning or outcome-based learning will be very effective. I was fortunate to see the demonstration of D2L regarding this LMS. Mainly, we were very much impressed on CO-PO mapping portal, which really strengthen or enhance the knowledge and skill set of the faculty members, so that the delivery will be linked effectively, will be very effectively. So, with this point, I thank the organizers for giving this wonderful opportunity. Maybe we can have a further discussion in the later stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think fantastic inputs. And these are actually the need of the hour. And I think you rightly said, competency-based education or outcome-based education is the need of the hour. Otherwise, even if you have digital tools, it doesn't make any sense to have those tools unless you're able to use that competency-based education to map the progress or digress, either which ways. Thank you so much for your input, sir. Dr. Selvam, your input, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have two views. The one view in a kind of national perspective, hopefully I would represent the Indian teachers. The other one is academic fraternity representing an institutions. No, we Indian teachers, in fact, our heart goes to cramming method. There has been hesitancy. We call it as a technology hesitancy, like vaccine hesitancy. Even at the peak of Corona, almost 75 million Indians, the eligible Indians had a vaccine hesitancy. And it's absolutely, reflects in technology hesitancy as well. It doesn't indicate that Indians are weak in adopting technology. We are late adapters. And if you look at the innovators and the early adapters, any statistics scientifically will say we take our own time to adapt to it. Okay, and by virtue, what happens with all the difficulties and challenges, with the natural hesitancy, the UGC, the regulatory bodies, particularly the accreditation agencies, on the one hand, they talk about the technology and converting the education into more technology-enabled educations. But when it comes into kind of evidence-based, they look forward to documents. So therefore, the education institutions are forced to get into documents where our happiness that the evidences are there. And many times, the technology is not being seen, in physically by the assessor. I have been NAC assessor for the past 13 years. When you go to the rural areas where, mostly we look, by nature, we look forward to evidences in documents, whether it's a attainment level, outcome-based educations, and except a few institutions. So there is some hesitancy, in fact, organizations like yours. There is a World Bank report that says, India has invested huge money on technology, but less money on faculty development. See, the technology and the faculty members, there is a disconnect. See, we still, I love to go for chalk and talk, now marker and talk. The only difference is chalk and talk and marker and talk. And that's where we all have been habituated. But in fact, adaptation to technology. 25th March there was first lockdown, 21 days, and within 40 days, most of the institutions, of course, all my academic fraternity, whomever working in like Amrita and some few institutions, within 40 days we were able to come out with LMS. LMS was ready, but the students and teachers are not ready. So that took almost, a continuous, aggressive the training program to the teachers. The teachers are ready, then the students are not ready. So these all the problem in the kind of national perspective, and moreover, see, we are very top on space technology. Right? We can even compete with the United States of America, for that matter, even Western countries. But all the scientists and technocrats who studied in 70s and 80s, they all studied with no technology. So this pride is there in everywhere, and particularly with the teachers, who are at the age of 55 and 60. When still we are facilitating them in the cramming method. Our examination is computerized. The answer scripts are scanned, and still some senior aged teachers are not ready to go to system and correct the papers. So therefore, the youngsters are ready, but there must be a very thorough orientation, among the teachers. The call is necessitated that everyone should get into the mode. Of course, the COVID-19 is a kind of pressurized us to learn technology-based educations. We never expected the technology comes as an intervention between the teachers and students. But the question is whether technology will help the teachers connect well with the students or not. You see, there are so many tools, we could say course plan, then the instructional plan, and the methodology, and even the responses, the reflections, and plus technology. But will technology replace all those things? That is again a question mark. So therefore, there must be some holistic kind of understanding how best technology will enable education that comes in equivalent to education that we have Western. That confusion needs to be sorted out. Otherwise, we are all into kind of a common platform that technology is a must. But the gap between what the world perceives and what we understand, that has to be cemented. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. One of the blockers that we see today is teachers and faculty see technology as just another job. It's an extra thing. It's an extra thing we have to do, and I think it's incumbent on us as the educational technologists of the world to show teachers that this is actually something that benefits them and that can save them time, but B, and more importantly, is actually design platforms and products that do that, right? That don't just say they do that. And I think that when teachers see that, oh, actually this saves me time, this is quicker than what I was doing, this enables me to spend more time actually thinking about the teaching itself, then they will come along for the ride and they'll get involved with education technologies. Today, yeah, a lot of things are a bit clunky, right? And they see it as extra work, and that's true, definitely.
Yeah, I think change management is very important, and faculties and teachers still find it a challenge to change. Habits take time to go. So habit is a word, H-A-B-I-T. If you remove H, a bit remains. Remove A, bit remains. Remove B, it remains. So it's difficult to change, but I think that's our job as educators to ensure that change management takes place, and faculties, who are the key pivotal entities in the educational institutions, should adopt to technology, and unless they do it, it's all difficult to ensure enabled education. Thank you so much. Dr. T.K. Gopinathan, your views, sir.
So good evening to one and all present here. So I am Dr. T.K. Gopinathan, Principal of Annai Mira College of Engineering Technology from Ronipet district. So our college is founded in the year 2012 and 13 by our founder and chairman, 3S Ramadas sir, and secretary and treasurer, Mr. G. Thamodaran, directors, Mr. Prashant, and Kishore Kumar. With their guidance, we are running successfully. We are affiliated to Anna University. We are our institution is a non-autonomous engineering college, right? So we have in Tamil Nadu we have almost 480 plus engineering colleges, right? So almost all the 480 engineering colleges. In 480 engineering colleges, we have 90 plus colleges autonomous and 380 colleges are non-autonomous. So actually, since we are affiliated to Anna University, they are giving the syllabus for the 8 semesters, and in fact they are guiding us, right? So first semester, what is that you have to be followed, and second semester, for all the semesters they are guiding us. In fact, after COVID, they have in 2021 regulations, they have modified in syllabuses as per requirement of the as per the guidance of a University Grants Commission and All India Council for Technical Education and all. But our college is located, it's somewhat, it's a part of students, so that is 50% of the students, they are from rural area and 50% of the students are from urban areas. Right, as the first point, as you said, that that is challenges that what we are facing in students, right? So since ours is a non-autonomous engineering college, so getting and producing results in Anna University, that itself very difficult. Even students to get pass mark itself, they are finding difficult. If you look at the results of Anna University for the last 10 or 12 years, for the last 1.5 years, that is after COVID, the pass percentage of Anna University in mathematics subject is 20%. Could you able to believe, sir? It's 20%. It's madam rightly pointed out. It's very difficult to cope up with the student. But as far as our engineering colleges, that is non-autonomous engineering colleges, students, they are listening. Actually, what strategies, what we are following is that we are regularly connecting with their parents, parent-teachers meeting, and in fact, through the class advisors, we are regularly reporting to their parents. So because of that, we are not facing many problems, but our friends, most of them, they are in higher level in some deemed universities, some autonomous engineering colleges, somebody they are in arts and science engineering colleges. Since, as madam rightly pointed out, and some of our professors also rightly pointed out, so for assessment, they are following certain things, but for that is not autonomous engineering colleges as regulated by Anna University, they are giving certain formulas, that means certain stages. These are the things you have to follow. That normally we are in for every semester, we are accessing 5 assessment. Right, so for every assessment, after the assessment, we need to enter their marks in the portal. So we are not facing that much of problem in students. That's what maybe the other universities or other colleges, they can go, they have to connect with their parents, and also where we are lagging is after COVID, now the students, what they are thinking is, whatever we can do, definitely we will get degree. What they are going to do. So that is the thought of every student, sir. If you see, as rightly pointed out, madam from MGR University, we have to follow regularly to the students, but they are not listening. But anyhow, we need this technical support like this. But whatever may be the technical support, the olden days, what they have for the classroom teaching, that plays a vital role. That has more attraction. That is the regular method. It's a conventional method. Definitely, we should not forget, but anyhow, these methodologies, we have to adopt these things. So thanks for the opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. K. Lakshmi, ma'am.
Good evening, and thanks for this wonderful opportunity. So I am not a 2K kid, and I know very much I cannot run away from technology. I maintain WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, what else? Twitter, Telegram. I am very much struggling to remember all the passwords. Of course, I make a note of it. And similarly, I hope everybody will be maintaining all this. So we need not have to say about the 2K kids. We cannot run away from technology. So we are into adoption, into technology. And Mr. Elliot was talking about 3 different stages. I will say our institute is at optimizing stage. And this may prolong for several years, I guess, because see, I am very much into this technological advancements. When I master into one tool, the other tool comes into advancement, right? I have to master that particular tool. So this will prolong, I guess, for another 10 years. You may be, as a developer, you will be at a optimizing stage. As a receiver, we will also be in a optimizing stage. And coming from Chettinad Academy of Research and Education, I will say we are again diversified. We have a very diversified culture there. We have MBBS, we have dental, nursing, allied health sciences, pharmacy, physiotherapy. So providing one tool that satisfies everyone is a real challenge. There is no one single medicine which cures all the disease. I'm from a pharmacy background. I know how tough it is. So I think that is a real challenge. The only request I will put forth to the developing team is, see, we are dwelling between comfort and the complication. Are you going to provide comfort? If I want to provide comfort to the student, so I am using a live quiz. I want to provide him a comfort and some interest I want to provide. But I am putting myself in a complicated situation. I have to sit for a while. I have to prepare everything. So I have to spend my time. I have to spend my intellect, all the resources. So my request is, if both student as well as faculty are given the comfort of using the tool, and I am very sure we cannot have a single tool for which can solve all the things, because we are using couple of tools for maintaining our leave sort of thing, and then Smart Campus is a tool which we are using it for uploading all our participation and other seminar, all those certificates, and then even the event reports, and we also use LMS. We also have e-learning resources, and I think that will be a real challenge. But as a developer, this is one single request. And another one is, though theory components can be easily done with all this freely available resources, we are struggling for practical components, simulations. Now, even medical colleges have implemented a simulation and skill center. We have a very good simulation and skill center. There they provide all the education whichever is required as per NMC with mannequins. But what kind of simulation models we have for chemistry or for pharmacy? So I teach everything in a laboratory model, but how the industry is having a real setup. If somebody could bring out if I enter the industry, how the industry will look like, if that could be brought with a virtual reality or a simulation models, that will be very useful for the institute, I think. And of course, we have to learn all this, learn and adopt all these tools, and this is going to be a big breakthrough in the higher education. Though we always say that teachers are given lot of other work, documentation work, research work, because we are multifaceted. We are not only dealing with teaching, but we are capable of doing everything. We can adopt to the latest technology. But this is the request to the developers. They can address on this issue, and practical simulation models will give more attraction. And even we feel like it will be worth for spending the money also from the university end. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you make an important point there that as you move through the adoption curve from the digitize to optimize, you start to use more and more edtech tools, and actually there's a complexity that comes with that. And really one of the key things that we as the developers of the tools, but also you as the adopters of the tools, need to focus on is, as you become more advanced, is focusing on the experience of the faculty and the students, and how do you make it so that they can actually deal with the overload and they don't have overload of, oh, which tool am I using today, and how. And so we need to build that into our design of our platform. Other edtech providers need to build that into their tools. But then there's time that you need to spend on your side as well to make sure that you're making the experience simple and elegant, and one that the teachers can deal with. Otherwise, again, they'll get switched off, right? And if they have overload, then they won't adopt the technology. A really great point.
Thank you, Elliot. And I think you're absolutely right, ma'am. I think motivation is required at both the ends, faculties and students equally, because if the adoption on faculty side is wanting, then you don't have the ways that you can motivate and engage students. Engagement has to be both ways. And therefore, I think what we do is we focus our energies on the change management to a great extent, so that we show and tell them that, okay, this is how you're going to save time. This is how you can devote more time on teaching and learning rather than wasting your time into administrative tasks. We show and tell and train them. That's one of the areas we have adopted in all our 70 clients that we have in the country. And I think that has shown results, that it takes a little bit of efforts initially, teething troubles initially, but eventually it helps. So I think that's the way we've addressed this. We're also learning in the process, but that's the way. Dr. Prabhu, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thanks to DTL for giving an opportunity to share my views. I think after listening to eminent persons from other universities, almost I got 2 to 3 pages of points which already they shared their views. So as mentioned by the madam, it's very difficult to get one tool to satisfy all persons. As a mechanical engineer, I just wanted to brief, I usually see student as a raw material who will be having their own characteristics. It may be a physical or a chemical, that is a property. It's very, for us to make them usable as a usable end product, we have to go through a number of processes. Such processes involves in education, this is active learning strategy, hybrid learning environment, assessment, teaching, training, measurement, engagement, all these are one of the processes, whatever you have mentioned. So it's very difficult for us to opt for one particular strategy, as madam mentioned. As we all know that in all the accreditation process, they are insisting on different types of learners, fast learner, medium learner, and slow learner. So as a faculty, it's very difficult for us to get the different tools for different group of learners. So what we do is we use technology oriented tools for slow learners. For fast learners, other things, peer learning, other things, flipped classrooms or whatever it is that we can able to utilize. Is it possible for us to have an assessment method? Generally, the assessment method is common. I'm just raising a point because whatever the point they have raised, whatever thought I wanted to share, they already raised. If you have a slow learner, how we are going to assess them? Because internal assessments are mentioned about 2 or 3 internal assessment tests, and that best mark will be taken care of. When we are talking about slow learner, we are talking about a concept, how we are going to assess. The same way we are going to assess slow learner and fast learner. Is it the right way to do that? For that only we need this different technologies. That is one particular point. And with respect to active learning environment, it's very difficult for us to sit and listen. And also it's difficult for the faculty to make the 60 students listen to them. After COVID, especially post-COVID, it's very difficult for us to get response from the student itself. It started during the online classes where faculty used to talk. We don't get that much of response from the student. The same thing started continuing. Now then that reflection, other things and all started coming because to make them actively participate. So with respect to our institutions, we are doing a lot of efforts, but again and again, new technology, new LMS, different protocols, that is tools are coming into the play. How we are going to assess the student on basis of their capability, that is fast learner, medium learner, and slow learner. Whether it is possible for us to do it in the 45 hours of time which was given to 45 hours for a particular 3-credit course, whether it is possible for us, then we have the faculty members need to do a lot of homework. And to develop the technology, because now the universities wants the faculty member to develop some online courses on their own, where sufficient training will be provided to them, considering their workload 2+1. I'm not just blaming that, but we, previously we will go through the library and take notes and we'll deliver. Now everything is there. We have NDLI, other things, we can get everything in the mobile or laptop, whatever it is. How we are going to process that, and whether D2L is having any such tool to, that is to make a, because if I want to get into a particular subject, before starting the class, I have to give some introduction, which I can do through, there is 5 to 10 minutes of teaser. I can send it to the students through LMS. They can come and how we discussed, the same thing can be done. But all these things, is it possible for a faculty to develop with the time frame and other things what they have? It's little bit of difficult. We are talking about so many things. Yes, we are doing a flipped classroom, we are doing blended learning, we are going think, pair, share, active learning environment, we are going for project based learning, mini projects, brainstorming sessions, lot of things are there. But it is commonly engaged, not for a particular group of students. How we are going to categorize that? That's my particular point. For that, what is the training required? And assessment and feedback also, that also we need to focus, because when it comes to the university examination, yes, it's fine. But when it's come to classroom level, say when we are almost everyone is following outcome-based education, different level of outcomes, how we are going to assess it? It's not only about the pen and paper, it's about other things, whether really they have understood the concept, they have done anything that is, they have developed a design, developed a circuit, anything like that, any practical product, something, those things, if it comes, then it will be really interesting.
Sure, I think what you just mentioned, most of the tools that we have inbuilt into the platform are available. That also ensures the slow learners or laggards in the classroom, how to capture them. Even customized assessments can be discussed and planned. Also, there are various other tools in terms of assessments and grading that are available inbuilt into the platform, and that can be customized as per the teaching pedagogy of a particular teacher. Every teacher is different. Every teacher has a different teaching style, and they can use these tools as per their own preferences and choice and start building the assignments and assessments themselves, even to the extent of customizing the core content. So content rests on the learning management system, but you have the flexibility on this platform to add, delete, modify, substitute, amend the content as and when you want. Add some YouTube-based research materials onto the existing content to make it more enriching and engaging. These tools are definitely available. What we will do is offline later on, we will showcase these specific features to you so that you can actually relate with the issues and challenges that you're facing in your institution. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Sir.
Thank you. Sir, good evening. Thank you for all person here. I thank you to L. See, I am Parandam, Dr. Parandam from Adi College of Engineering and Technology. I am working as a vice principal. I belong to mechanical department. I have my own industrial experience, 10 years my industrial experience. Right now I am doing teaching work. See, I am taking the topic is teacher training. So our ultimate aim is the technology, all the technology to reach the students, correct? See, we are normally all the technology, all the technical things we are teaching the students, but there is no parental affection to the students. Nowadays the people are, nowadays the students are expecting parental affection. But we are giving the instruction, all technical instruction, all subject-wise instruction we are giving. But nowadays, nowadays the students are expecting parental affection. So one more thing, teacher training means the teacher, the professor taking the subject. For example, he is taking some engineering subject. He knows only the subject. The industrial-oriented, he doesn't know. That is why the teacher should know about these application-oriented. For example, by being a mechanical engineer, I am taking the strength of material where it is applicable, apply. When it's applied, like that, some company names or some applications, the teacher should teach the students. So one more thing, normally I am telling the students, 4 years you are studying well, 40 years you can enjoy. The same thing. So one more thing, our professors should know the opportunity of this engineering. Especially we are from engineering, that's why opportunities, there are a lot of opportunity, likewise government opportunity, state government opportunity, central government opportunity in private sector. So in state government, there are many companies. In central government, n number of companies, Navaratna, Magaratna, like BHL, SAIL, NLC, Railway, ICF, there are many companies. We are not worried about these companies. We are not telling anything to the students. So what my wish is, we have to, as a professor, we have to give the students how to get the job for these particular companies. Sir, they are telling only if you complete your BE degree, after you attend the GATE exam. Through GATE, you can come there. So likewise, see, for teacher training, this and all, through our technology integration, we have to add. So our TTL will help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I think most of the institutions in India and overseas are using LMSs to create a lot of content around various industries. So what you could do is that if you have accessibility to an LMS, you could have external faculties from the industry who would talk about the features of their own industry and the required job opportunities in their industry and the necessary skills to get jobs in that industry, be it state level industry or national level industry. So you could actually build in a lot of guest lectures and put it on the LMS for students to view, to have a clear understanding and picture of various job opportunities in the industry, and also understand the key requirements of skill sets in those industries. So it's a two-way process. That content that you create through these guest lectures remains on the learning management system to be used later on by the future students who join the group. So that is a big advantage that you can create. Also, your faculties can put together small courses on the various skill sets required by, say, automobile industry is a very famous and available industry outside Chennai. IT industry, or you can identify few industries which have plenty of jobs, including public sector organizations. Invite guest lectures, put that content, lectures and short-term courses followed by inbuilt assessments so that they absolutely and clearly understand the requisitions. All that is possible using learning management platforms. Thank you so much, sir. Ashik sir, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. I'm the second last speaker, so I'll soon stop it so that the last speaker can just say amen. Most of it has already been mentioned. There are a couple of things that I'd like to mention. I'll divide my comments into two halves. One is the administrative part of it. Second one is, of course, the teaching part of it. Administration, yes, I agree. It has to be 100% automated because I'm sure most of you will agree that we are running a rat race with NIRF, with the NAC. Unless we are totally automated, I don't think we will be able to sustain this rat race at all. So that is 100%. It has to be made 100% automated. But when it comes to teaching, that is where my real concern is. I come from an institution which is 187 years old, and we have been continuously taught of how to engage students in classroom. Of course, COVID came, we moved online. But having come back to classes, there is a total different change when it comes to students. They're still not sure whether they prefer online classes or they are not sure whether they prefer offline classes. When you say online, they prefer offline. When they say offline, they prefer online. That is how a confused model that we have. As somebody already mentioned, their concentration time is quite less, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, it goes on. I try this flipped classes. Each time I go back to my class, I kind of experiment in my class. Flipped classrooms, I give material in advance, I give them reading material, I share videos. Then I share my PPTs before I go to my class. Sometimes I find none of them look at it, right? They just come back to class and then say, and my class is something that is 100% meritorious. A student who gets, the minimum meritorious student in my class is 80% plus in his 12th standard. And with this top meritorious class, they looking at the material becomes a big challenge. So when I go to fifth class and then ask class students, what did they study? They just blank. right? So I try to have simulations. Sometimes the video that I've already put in the platform, the learning management platform, I again kind of show it to them, then go for discussion. So this kind of a disconnect is there among the students. It's very hard. So these days when I go for my flipped class, I don't go for lecture method there. I go back for simulation method, where students will have to be involved. So if I put an online video, he's coming in talking in class. I'm not going to come and talk in class. So this is something that's a big challenge I find in class, right? So it doesn't stop there. A class will have to have a workshop. It will have to have simulation. My problem is with 1 hour, if I do a simulation, by the time they come out of simulation, go back to my lecture, the class is over. 45 hours is very little for all of us, right? So that is a challenge that most of us face in classes. The blended learning, where we have one half we have in the classroom, you have online. Somebody mentioned about the assessment. We do have 3 assessment methods: first assessment and the last assessment, either online, either open book test or writing test. Second is more innovative. We have a innovation park in the institution where you have to find a product, come out with the process. You kind of get marks for it. So that is a process that we have. Second, if you're not interested in innovation, we give you a lot of other schemes where you can, you can write online exams, etc. But the problem is with AI tools, with all this ChatGPT and the Wikipedia, I find many of them find easy method to come and reproduce in their product. And it is very hard. So what we have started doing is, when they come do their test, the second test, we sit with them and correct along with them. So they know that we are questioning them then and there, and we try to find a solution to it. If it is finding a product, inventing a product, it's a different story. But when it comes to the conventional method, that is where we have a larger question. Last one is, I hate this outcome-based education. Why do I hate it? One, in school education, you're not taught outcome-based education, right? In school education, you're taught to mug, and then you vomit in the exam board. I go to the first year, sometimes I go to the junior classes. Sometimes students who are 100% in their marks, when we start our lecture, within 5 minutes, they are blank. So you try to have various methods to bring in them to the classes. Even then, they don't even understand. Right? So every method, there is a problem. And adding LOCF to that classroom, it has put a lot of pressure on the faculty. I have conducted so many training programs on LOCF. I have also undergone a lot of programs on LOCF. Until now, I have not understood what LOCF stands for, right? And I set question papers for various other institutions. I'm confused. Their syllabus is something, their question pattern is something else, and you're trying to match both. It is a lot of confusion, and then we are trying to see how to fit in this model. In fact, I recently met the person who was part of the team that went and signed this Washington Accord, and I asked questions. How is it going to relate to, if it's an engineering college, it is fine. But how is this upper level of understanding going to address an arts and science college? He said, don't even address those. Right? Somewhere there is this huge gap in what our education system is. And in that gap, we are trying to see how we can orient the students in. It's a big challenge, right? Absolutely, it's a big challenge. And then this is where the innovation comes in, right? We are trying to see how best they can come into the fold. If they come in well and good, in LOCF, they mentioned, you go tell the students what LOCF is. I go to class and tell him what LOCF is, he's looking blank, right? That is how the system is. I think there is a lot of gaps. It'll take a lot of time for us to come into the digital platform, as you see, but it is still too early. With that, I'll stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashik. And last but not the least, Mr. Satish Kumar from Subbalakshmi.
Good evening, everyone. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for me as well, because all the academicians, all the education experts are together. But I am not an educationalist, but I am a journalist covering education for past 12 years. So based on my experience, I am throughout my sum of thoughts. Because see, in India, we are producing more number of graduates. See, if you take AHR report, there are 4.13 crores students are enrolling in higher education in India. So irrespective of 60,000 education institutes are in India. So this much of number we are having, but still we are looking for the skills and placement trainings, internships, industrial training. Even education institutions are providing civil service coaching. So is it really mandatory to put all together in the particular education institutions? Because education students are expecting education for their own field. In-depth, educationists have to give the in-depth knowledge to their field. But even though we are giving that knowledge, but still we are looking all the things, because placement training, this is one of the biggest thing. Parents also expecting the same thing. But how will technology helpful to use on amalgamate all these things? Because innovation is important, even patent is important. Nowadays PhD, we also done in online. So these are things happening in India, not only India and around the world. But still, I think we have to move forward some more important things apart from facing the regular challenges, and because there are a lot of challenges, not only skills and development. We have to look at around the world, and we have to move forward apart from these things. These are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think very enlightening and views from all of you. Fantastic inputs, I think. May I request Elliot to please give your concluding remarks first?
Thank you, Prem. Yeah. So I'm just going to briefly mention like a theme that I've taken from the discussions we've gone around the table, and the theme that I've picked up on is one of variability. Okay, and so at times we've been talking about the tech savviness of faculty, right? And that being a potential blocker to the use of education technologies. And so if you think about the standard bell curve, you've got some on one end that are really advanced and some on the others. And there is a lot of variability in there. We've talked about that from the student perspective as well, right? And so one of the gentlemen down here was talking about how actually a lot of the students aren't quite as tech savvy as we maybe think they are. And that's another potential blockers. Dr. Prabhu talked about learning styles, fast learners, slow learners. That's another potential blocker to education in general, but also to the adoption of educational technologies. And I can't remember who, but one of the speakers talked about the accessibility of the internet and the infrastructure, and people actually even just generally being able to get onto these tools, right? And that's another big point of variability that we see. And when I think about that, I think about from our perspective as the EdTech company, but also from your perspective as the educators. And I think that what we need to do is we need to try and ensure that the EdTech that we develop, but the EdTech that you then implement and adopt, is able to embrace those variabilities and those complexities, and is actually able to help move things forward and not be a hindrance to that. And I think sometimes at the institutional level that's one of the blockers we see, because people can't see a future where the technology is actually helping move things forward. They see it as a barrier. And I think if we can address some of those variabilities and be able to tell a better story both you inside your institutions, but us as an edtech provider, and obviously provide technology that does in fact do that, then that's one of the ways that we'll see us move along that adoption curve that I talked about at the outset, from digitize to optimize to transform. So I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for everyone's input.
Thanks, Elliot. I have my colleague Mahesh Subramanian. He's our senior solutions engineer based out of Chennai. And I think he's been observing all the comments that that were put forward by all of you. Mahesh, would you like to just conclude with certain key takeaways for the respected members who are present here? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Prem. I have a presentation that I don't want to show you today. It has 6-7 slides. It has slides that give you the information about the topics that you talked about and how Brightspace actually helps you with tools and technologies to allow you to enable delivery of content, faculty training, etc. We will send that slide deck to you as a thank you message. But I'd like to talk about 3 things that came out of the conversation today. One is comfort, right? Madam mentioned that the technology needs to be comfortable to use, right? The platform that we have has been designed with ease of use in mind. It allows primarily faculty. So if you had observed a demonstration by any D2L solution engineer, we will actually start with the faculty in mind. We don't show you the student login or the student access. We start with the faculty because the faculty needs to do a lot more than the student. The student is at the end of the day a consumer. They consume content. Just like we consume content on YouTube or any other platform, they consume content on the LMS. So we work on how to make life easy for the faculty. Now, when we talk about making life easy for the faculty, Dr. Prabhu mentioned that you need to have personalized learning, outcome-based learning, where not only do you teach the subject, but you also make it applicable to where you implement this, right? So I am not an academician, I'm a technologist. So the interesting part is the first 10 years of my professional life, the highest piece of automation I have seen is an electronic typewriter. I have not seen a computer before that. So I started working in 1987. I moved into IT in 1997. So the first 10 years, I don't even know what a computer is. But I have been able to adopt that technology, and I have been a programmer, developer, product manager. So I've done the entire gamut of what technology entails. And one of the key aspects of my job is to train people in my team. So I've led large teams. So there was one point about digital hesitancy or technology hesitancy. I have built a platform for a company, for a technology company, an LMS platform for a technology company, and the L&D in the company would not adopt that LMS. They prefer to use web pages, right? So it's not a problem with what you see today, it's a problem across the globe. It's a very simple example. People who use Android phones are not willing to shift to Apple OS and vice versa, right? So the way that we work is we look at all of those factors, build it into the usability of the platform, and build personalized learning capabilities. You set it up once, it works throughout the year. You want to make changes, that change is easy to make. Okay, and the last piece is that when we talk about teacher training, training teachers on digital usage, on technology usage, that's where a tech provider like us comes into play. I'm very happy to note that a lot of you mentioned that you need tech partners to do the job of delivering technology in an institution, right? So the advantage that we have is we are on the ground here. We have people who can come to your institution and help you, handhold you through the process of setting up an LMS, using it. And we're an organization that doesn't walk away after we implement. We're an organization that stays with you throughout your use of the LMS, right? So we have global customers who are on the platform for close to 19, 20 years, and we're still helping them. As the technology changes, as the trends in the technology industry change, as trends in the teaching industry changes, we change with that, and we go and help our customers. So that's one of the things that we do as part of the teacher training. So we're not talking about just upskilling teachers in terms of the academic part of the business, but also in terms of how to use the technology, how to make it efficient. And because of our large global customer base, we have a lot of best practices that come from customers. We are, at the end of the day, we are tech innovators. We are not academicians. But you have the advantage of a large community of peers like yourself, institutions like yourself that use the platform, probably in a more advanced stage because they've been using it for a few years, and you can leverage all of that information. Okay? So I'd like to conclude with the fact that the one underlying point that I take out from this is everybody here wants to see technology adoption and transformation. We are here to help you. Thank you very much.
So now we have come towards the end. I think it has been well summarized. I'm sure the purpose of meeting together over here and sharing your valuable time this evening has come at last to a fruitful discussion. And the points, I think it has been well noted by the D2L team. And the areas which you talked about, the faculty training, in what time can we have some capsule videos which could be shared with the students so that they could use it and grasp it easily. I think most of the organizations or the tech players have been doing this. Short capsules or maybe a beta phase of entering into an institution before actually investing into it, that could also be a part of a business model in most of the tech companies, instead of, because with technology implementation comes definitely a financial analysis and financial investment, in which I think key decision makers play a very crucial role. But again, the main decision goes to the management or the owners of the organization, because again, but definitely I'm sure that they have parked some of their financials to the technology, to the innovations, because with this we cannot move ahead as it's the demand of the industry. If you would not be doing this, they may be pressurized with the need of the hours by the faculty or maybe the industry requirements and need. It is also advisable to invite, tech players and tech leaders like this. Why not to give some guest lectures at your, college faculty? If they are in a position to brainstorm or brainwash education leaders and experts like us, I think the students, when they engage and interact with them, they might have a different opinion or different say, or no, to have a query of them. And likewise, a separate session for the faculty of your institutions. Like ma'am, you told you have a huge range of institutions from a different genre of education, from medical, engineering, and life sciences, and so many. So if any technology which has a one-stop solution, I think it's hard to say, but it could be customized, and everybody, they customize their need and requirements. And
Sorry.
yes, ma'am.
Right now, we do have different software for library management,
Okay.
different for health science management, and so for different sectors, type of softwares they are having already. They are online now.
Right.
As you said, when I was the director of IQAC, many software companies, as sir said, for outcome-based education, especially for NBA accreditation and outcome-based education, NAC ranking, many software companies approached us, and we, as you said, we have a session for them. And as you finally said, it's all the decision management.
Correct.
It's all the decision management.
Correct.
And how you can.
Correct.
And as sir said, D2L is for desire to learn.
Right.
And my suggestion here is it's a long time thing where you all try to convince the management, but who's having the desire to learn is the parents, which is my idea. Normally the parents have the idea that my kid has to learn. So if you're having something like now, like they have some 7 or 8 volumes of books and they will come and show us this is for your kids, and that will be an encyclopedia of colorful things. So if at all you have something to attract the parents, so that will be the nice area which I think.
Correct, sir.
So, ma'am, I think what you mentioned, we also have a parent portal in our Keynote 12 model. Okay. So the idea is to let parents also have peep into what their children are doing, and though they have limited access, only relevant access, but then this is also available, and it, if so required, I think that can be put on to your higher education institution. So this is already available on the platform.
Okay, nice.
So I think. So we are towards the end of the session now. We will be going with the felicitation ceremony, because the kind of ArdorComm Media in association with D2 would like to really applaud and praise your valuable contribution to the education industry and your efforts which you have been making in in growing, grooming, learning, co-learning with this industry. We want to appreciate your efforts. For that, we have a small felicitation ceremony. Before this, I would actually want to have a quick one-liner from everybody as a closing remark, and this closing remark would be a USP of your institute. So you are among thousands of institutes over here, sir. To start with you, what is the USP of your institute as a one-liner, or maybe one word which could define your institute to be like? This would be a little bit of entertaining, so that let us understand how emotionally you are attached and how passionate you are about your institute. To start with, again, sir, Dr. K. Vijay Bhaskar, sir, what is the USP of your institute? One liner or one word? We all talk about the USP of my product, USP of technology from the edtech side. Let us throw this question to an academia. USP of your institute, sir.
We are making our students excellent for the society, where they will fit into the industry.
Our major USP is outcome-based education. I can be of some help to you. I'll take 2 more minutes. Basically, actually, I just want to say that this Bloom's taxonomy started only with the social sciences, later picked up by others. Unfortunately, it is not being properly, elucidated down the way. I think you can take the help of NITTR. It's a fantastic thing. We have a multidisciplinary institution. And we actually have law, we have pharmacy, we also teach all the liberal arts courses. All of them are very well structured with outcome-based education. And people like D2L will be of a great help, because immediately I can get all the valuation done on it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving it.
Dr. L. Mahesh Kumar.
Yeah, we cater to a diverse group of students. You have very, very weak students, very good students.
Wow.
So that's one where, that's why I started when I told you that it's very difficult for us to see that there are some people who can use technology, there are so many people who can't even make use of it.
Correct, sir. Dr. P. Upadhyakala.
Our institution is a student-friendly institution, and a faculty peaceful environment, and a down-to-earth management.
Lovely, ma'am. Dr. Purkar.
Sairam Institution's industry-powered innovative campus.
Pardon, sir?
Industry-powered innovative campus.
Okay. Lovely.
Superior in health science education, though we are traditional.
Okay. But you are superior.
Disciplined and quality technical education for all.
Oh, lovely. Dr. K. Lakshmi.
Commitment towards excellence. Commitment towards excellence.
Lovely.
Imparting quality education to the rural students.
Quality education to the rural students.
See, most of the rural students, we have mold them and we have getting the 90% placement for them, especially.
Excellent.
For rural students, the medium also Tamil medium, we are molding in the 4 years, especially technical as well as communication skills.
Okay.
Thank
Ashik
you.
Pune first.
Academic excellence and social relevance.
Great.
And soon to be outcome-based learner.
Maybe after some time.
After decades.
What will be for Daimler? What is the USP of that media?
So, sorry, I forgot to mention, I am also representing RL Institute and SLCS. The number is running an institution in Madurai. Yeah. So, our.
How can you expand that, sir? SSCs?
SLCS, Subbulakshmi Lakshmipati College of Science and RL Institute. Lakshmi, yeah.
So, what is the USP?
There is no capitation fee, there is no donation.
Very clear.
So,
Lovely.
yeah.
Very important point, somehow. Can I have the USP of D2L from your side and as well as your sides? It cannot be same.
Reach every learner. Reach the unreached. That's important. Because we have learners all over the country, country of millions and billions. And I think that's the fastest and the best way to reach every learner across the globe, not only our country.
Yeah, I think if I could sum up globally in one word what D2L is known for around the world, it's the word partnership. We partner better with our customers than any of the other global edtech providers. We really, really, really invest in your success and understanding. This is more than one word, but anyway, the word is partnership. We invest in your success. We like to understand what is it that your institution is trying to achieve and how can we help make that happen. And we actually walk the talk with that, and we do that all around the world.
So now we come towards the end, and for closing this, can we have a small shake hand to the person to your left or to the person to your right, telling that I am 10 times happier today. Can you please do that exercise? Can you, sir, with you also, can you please shake hand to your left as well to your right, saying that I'm 10 times happier today. I'm 10 times happier today, man.
Not more than 10 times.
It will take much time. See, most of the institutions here are from Chennai, and except 2-3 from Kanchipuram and all, having realized the importance of technology adaptations, not taking technology is a risk taking. Okay, even having the capacity to adapt. Most of the institutions have capacity to adapt technology, but please go to the institution in rural areas. They don't have the capacity to adapt technology, but they are willing to adapt the technology. So your praise of the technology, you can make it very competitive at colleges at urban areas. Make it very reasonable to the institutions at rural areas. Definitely they will be benefited out of that. Yeah.
Sure, we'll do that. As I mentioned, the motto is to reach the unreached. We'll do that. Definitely we'll do that. Thank you so much.